Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So finally, a little later than I had promised you, I am getting round to showing you my purchases from the new Tom Ford iQuad palette releases. I say new because they were released in the UK, I believe, on Boxing Day. That's certainly when I first saw them on the Selfridges website. And I haven't actually been in store. I'm not sure where else they're available currently. I bought mine sight unseen, really, from Selfridges by post. I say sight unseen because these have been released quite a long time ago in the United States and I think Canada. I don't know about the rest of the world. I have watched quite a few YouTube videos, so I knew what was coming and what I thought I wanted initially from the new range. I don't think any of these are limited edition. They're essentially taking over from the old permanent range, which is being phased out. Quite a few of the quads that I have been using for years are now disappearing as they sell out. So if there are any you always regretted not buying, I think now's the time to go down and get them. If you asked me my view, it's not my favourite, but I think it's the most versatile, universally usable palette in the world, and that's Coca Mirage, which I think they are going to discontinue. So that would be one worth getting. I think they are continuing Nude Dip, which is another very popular, great favourite Tom Ford palette. Well worth having if you haven't got it. Nothing else quite like it. That's a wet and dry palette like the one I'm going to show you today that I've got. I think they may be continuing Nude Dip, but it's very difficult to get a clear answer out of the sales assistants or any of the website information about that. So my first palette, I've got 3 so far, and I probably will buy some others. I just, do fall for these Tom Ford palettes. The first one I'm going to show you is Virgin Orchid, which I knew from the videos that I saw. Number 27, Virgin Orchid, I definitely would want. The reason I was immediately attracted to this one is not only because they're beautiful colours. Let's take the plastic and little bits away. Not only because I thought it really was a beautiful palette of cool toned pinky neutrals, really, that I love to wear and find very versatile. I thought it looked like, and I still think it is, almost, not quite, a dupe for my all-time favourite Tom Ford palette, possibly my all-time favourite palette, although that just does change from time to time. A limited edition that has long since disappeared out of the stockists. It's even quite difficult to get on YouTube, on eBay these days. Number 1, Enchanted, which I believe was the first wet and dry palette they ever produced. And I got mine in 2012. You can see it's well used, well loved. Still absolutely usable. It is getting a little more powdery than it was, but I used it over Christmas, and it's a tribute to the Tom Ford formulas, certainly of that time, that it's still 6 years on, absolutely fine to use. I think these two are very, very similar. You can see on the screen that in the pan, the bottom two, look pretty much identical. The top right shade is much more peachy in the old Enchanted than the new Virgin Orchid, which is a lot more kind of mauvey, lilac-y pink. And the whites aren't showing as much. It's kind of a creamier white in the new Virgin Orchid than a slightly pinky white in the Enchanted. I've swatched them on my arm already to show you the two side by side, Let's do it in daylight, and I'll put the light on in a minute to see the ring light, to see if that makes any difference. The first in each is the new Virgin Orchid. So you can see there, just going back to the palette, the white is indeed a much kind of more stark white than the slightly pinky hued white of Enchanted, but there's not a lot in it. I think the biggest difference, as in the pan, is the more pigmented and definitely pinkier, but still kind of multifaceted pink shade, much peachier in the, I'm saying much, there's not a lot in it, definitely peachier in the old Enchanted. I have to say this peach is one of my favourite shadows. I really, really love it. It looks even prettier on the eye. I'm blue-eyed, and it's just a really gorgeous shadow to work with. And then at the bottom, awkwardly, the two taupes. This one, again, a bit more a kind of neutral than the slightly pinkier taupe. Again, another favourite of mine from the Enchanted palette. But really, I'm suspecting, I haven't used the Virgin Orchid on the eyes yet, that they'll be very, very similar on the eyes. And then the two browns, again, not a lot in it. So I don't know if I switch on the ring light, whether that's going to make those swatches look any better. There we go. Not a lot of difference in it. So I don't think those swatches make you think, well, this palette's going to set the world alight. I haven't actually used it on the eyes yet. I have been using one of the other ones that I'm going to talk about next, Pretty Baby. But I intend to use it this week, and I'll get back to you. I'm suspecting they'll look very, very similar on the eyes. I have to say, just on finger swatches, this one already feels a bit stiffer and slightly less creamy than the 2012 Enchanted does, but I'm not complaining about it. They feel good. They are, you know, pretty soft shadows to use. Those of you who are kind of worried about satins and glitter, these are not glitters. There's no glitter in the way that a lot of Tom Ford standard palettes have one glitter top coat, as it were, in each quad. Because these are the wet and dry, they're all this kind of luminous satin. They just look slightly multi-dimensional on the eye, and I actually prefer them to matte shadows. They, I think, are very flattering even on older eyes, so I don't have any particular concerns about that. But as I say, I can't vouch for how this actually works on the eye and how it lasts. My Enchanted, as I say, is, you know, just a perfect palette for application and for lasting well and remaining true to colour on the eye. So I'm very hopeful about this new one. I just think it's such a pretty shade selection. So I'm really happy that they've brought back a colour combination that is so close to the old Enchanted, which I absolutely love. And that although I've still got plenty of product in here and it's very usable, I've now got effectively a backup in this new Virgin Orchid palette. So as I say, I have two others already. When I manage to get to the shops to actually look at these in person, I dare say I'll end up with some other ones. But until then, I'd be very happy to hear if any of you out there in North America have already got them, use them, what you think, and about your picks. And until next time, bye for now.